Good evening. We come to you tonight with heavy hearts. We are mourning with the families that lost a loved one last night in a tragic crash. A father and his young son, they were killed, as were several members of the University of the Southwest men's and women's golf teams. Tonight, we will walk you through the investigation and where it stands tonight, and looking ahead to how West Texans are coming together to mourn and remember the 9 lives lost. This is News West 9 at 10. Thanks for joining us.
I reported a vehicle fire at West 115 and 1788, West 115. Correction, East 115 and 1788. It is going to be a head-on collision. Both vehicles fully engulfed at this time. The bystanders attempted to get the person trapped in the van out. They're unable to get close to the van at this time. It is too hot.
We're going to probably have to shut the highway down for a while. We are going to need 2 helicopters, please.
Thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Tatum Gwen. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Let's bring you up to speed. Those first calls, they came in after 8 last night. 2 cars were on fire. That was the report. A van crash had just happened outside of Andrews. Tonight, we know 9 people were killed in that crash. The youngest victim just 13 years old. Troopers, they were out on the scene investigating for more than 12 hours. And we understand because of the nature of this crash, the National Transportation Safety Board have been called in. Here is video from this morning. The question tonight, and one investigators are still working through themselves. What went wrong? The initial crash report from DPS states the Dodge pickup truck veered into the northbound lane, hitting the university van head on. The NTSB said earlier today that it will be some time before we know exactly what happened.
We hope to have a preliminary report, which will just contain the facts of the gathered up to that point, in about 2 weeks to a month. The entire investigation could take anywhere from 18 to 24 months. And, you know, it's not only looking at what happened, but why it happened and ways that can prevent it from happening in the future.
Earlier today, both the cars that were pulled out of a ditch and then towed away, the truck, the van, the area surrounding the crash, all charred by fire. Not much left. And wreckage, it's still scattered across the road. So why is the NTSB investigating this crash? They say that the severity of the collision is what caught their attention.
We look at every civil aviation accident in the country, as well as significant crashes and accidents in other modes of transportation, such as marine, pipeline, railroad, and highway.
So if you have ever driven down the old telephone pole road, as we call it, you may have had some close calls yourself. There's been a lot of crashes along that over the years. It's pretty narrow and just 2 lanes. And there is a lot of traffic there, many driving pretty fast. We are asking the question tonight, is the road safe enough, or can more be done? Jonathan Polasek spoke with the president of the Midland-Odessa Transportation Alliance for some insight. Jonathan, what did you find out?
Tatum, James Beecham is the president of the Transportation Alliance here. He first and foremost wants to offer his sincerest condolences to all of the victims. But when it comes to safety of Old Telephone Pole Road, any improvement will take some time. 1788, it's well traveled for such an isolated road, and drivers don't always take it easy on the gas. The Midland-Odessa Transportation Alliance studies many roads across the Permian Basin just like this. When it comes to improvements, that can take some time. The Alliance looks at many factors several times a year, using 3 to 5 years worth of data to make decisions on what will make the greatest impact for drivers, including traffic cams, overall crash fatalities, and types of crashes.
Generally, on a 2-lane rural road like that, the most significant improvement you can have is fully developed out 8-foot, 10-foot shoulders, and rumble strips, because the majority of crashes and fatalities on roadways like that tend to be roadway departures.
Widening lanes is another alternative, but not in all cases. Two-lane roads like Telephone Pole Road are part of life here in West Texas, so all of them have to be monitored for safety, especially as more and more drivers start getting back to work and using the road.
For the last couple of years, people have let their guard down a little bit, and it's as important as ever that they are vigilant when they're out there on the roads and highways.
Now, this road will be getting a closer look, but changes will never guarantee how safe two-lane roads like Telephone Pole Road can be. But any changes would be welcomed for weary drivers if it means saving lives. Now, one thing that could be helpful to know is that 385 is actually a 4-lane highway that also goes to Seminole and Andrews, just like 1788 does. It might take you a few extra minutes, but if you're looking for more lanes when you're traveling, that could be a route that you want to take. Tatum?
Jonathan, thank you. Tonight we are learning more about the 9 people involved in the crash, including those who are part of the University of the Southwest. Tragically, all of those from the university, all under the age of 30, they lost their lives. It's hard to wrap your mind around, right? We've been piecing together information over the past 24 hours. Here's what DPS released earlier this afternoon. We know that their coach, Tyler James, Mauricio Sanchez, Travis Garcia, and Jackson Zinn, they all passed away in the crash. 3 more victims, they lost their lives that were on the golf team. We have them here. That includes Carissa Rain, she was 21, Lacey Stone, she was a freshman, just 18 years old, and Tiago Souza, also 18-year-old himself. Now, we can't forget about the 2 other victims in the crash. The 2 other survivors, excuse me, the only 2 to survive. They were also members of the golf team. Dayton Price, he's 19, and Hayden Underhill, 20. They were airlifted to a Lubbock hospital where they are in critical condition tonight. They were the only people that were able to be pulled from the crash before the flames got too big and the scene was too hot. We also cannot forget the victims in the other vehicle, a Dodge truck. Heinrich Simons and his 13-year-old son. They too were killed. They were from Seminole. We are working with their family to learn more about them and get any photos that we might be able to share with you so y'all can remember them with us. Now, the golf course, where all of those golfers on that bus practice, had a memorial set up for them. The Rockwind Golf Course in Hobbs, which is right across the road from the University of the Southwest, put together a makeshift memorial. The golfers, they spent almost every day at that course, so the staff, they knew them all very well. They put up that memorial this morning after they heard what happened. Employees at the course, like many of us, are still in shock.
There's definitely a hole there, and it's hard. It's like I said today. I just can't even wrap my mind around it yet. I don't think any of us can.
How can you? The golf course, they do plan to do more for the victims and their families in the future. Right now, they're just trying to come to terms with the faces that they see almost every day won't be there anymore. Other reactions to the crash are also coming in from around the state, including from our Governor Greg Abbott. He expressed his condolences and asked the state to come together in support of them and their families and friends. Governor Abbott also pledged his support and the support of the Texas DPS to the university and also New Mexico. His thoughts, he says, are with the 2 members of the team in critical condition in Lubbock tonight. Hayden Underhill and Dayton Price will say their names again. Another group showing their support, Midland College. They showing support in Hobbs. Midland College President Dr. Steve Thomas has ordered the Midland College flag to fly at half staff. That show of support started today and will continue through Friday, all to honor the memories of Coach Tyler James and his team and the other 2 people. Now, in a statement, Dr. Thomas extends condolences to the USW family and acknowledges the devastating loss to the school. He said, quote, "Words cannot express how deeply hurt we feel for their loss." He goes on to say, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with USW as they grieve this terrible loss." And Midland College was not the only local school showing support. Corey Mose has more on our region's outreach. Hi, Corey.
Hello, Tatum. That's right. We had people across the country showing support on social media for the lives that were lost. Closer to home, Odessa College's golf team placed ribbons on their bags to honor USW. UTPB also showed their condolences for the tragic accident. And then two-time Olympic medalist and Houston native Kat Osterman posted her thoughts and prayers, while three-time MVP award winner Mike Trout also shared his emotions from California. And bringing it back to the 432, Midland College decided to cancel the remainder of the tournament. But after clearing out the course, they decided to leave up the scoreboard. Except only one team's scores were written. It was the Mustangs.
You know, I think I hugged everybody on everybody's team that was here, and a lot of teary eyes, a lot of sad faces, a lot of young kids that had played with them yesterday or played with them at other events around the area recently, and we've played with the University of Southwest quite a few times in the last few years. And Tyler was a good friend of mine, actually. I'd met him and got to know him a little bit there and have known him ever since, and he just got this job at University of Southwest this year, and I think he was doing a really good job and a great kid and working hard and was trying to build a program and had a lot of respect for him. Good kid.
So as you see, Coach Tyler was well respected among the coaching ranks, and he was known for sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ while on the golf course.
He was able to pour into the lives of our student athletes and how they interacted in the classroom, in the community, but also spiritually. And he used golf as a form of ministry, and he ministered to our student athletes when he was coaching them and interacting with them.
And now Coach and his team is spending eternity with their Lord and Savior. Tatum.
Well, we started the show tonight thinking of the victims, and we are going to end the show with the victims. I know our entire community is mourning, and there are 10 families who know that better than any of us. We're thinking and praying for them tonight.